So we're looking now at the last of the videos which tie in with week 2, and it really ties things all in together. It's the value chain, our 4th video. So just a quick reminder that taken together we have the primary activities and we have the support activities, and together we actually describe these as a generic value chain, or a value chain which could actually be applied to most businesses. Porter's claim, or his theory, is that this describing of the key functions of a business and how it can help explain how a business could add value to achieve a competitive advantage. And we've looked at primary activities, which are about the transformation that raw materials go through, and then the way these are sold to consumers, and how consumers might be supported through this support function, about the operation of the business, the overheads, the infrastructure required to allow a business to operate in this way. This is the image we often see of Porter's value chain. If you Google it, you'll actually find there's many similar looking diagrams. Now along the bottom of it we see we have the primary activities. So starting from the inbound logistics, the operations, the outbound logistics, the sales and the marketing. Each of these is related from taking the product from the raw material stage through its transformation and out to customers and supporting customers. The top part of the diagram, the support activities, we have the procurement, the technology department, the human resource management and the firm infrastructure, and they're all about supporting the primary activities and the competitive advantage that can arise in or some of these areas. Remember what we're talking about in cost leadership. It's the opportunity to be the cheapest in the market, where people buy that product because it's the cheapest way of buying it, or perhaps because they have to buy the cheapest. Perhaps it's the cheapest tin of beans. Perhaps people will buy a more expensive tin of beans, they'll pay more because it has different features to it. It might be worth more to consumers, or it may be worth more to some consumers. So I don't buy value baked beans because I'm willing to pay a little bit more for Heinz baked beans, which I believe taste a bit better. But if you're a poor, impoverished student, you may actually be forced to buy the value baked beans because there's no value, there's no more money to buy anything else. So we can clearly see an example that there's a market for a cost leader, which is offering value, and a market for differentiational, and we'll say, for example, Heinz. They're not the cheapest, but the product they offer is actually deemed to be worth paying a little bit extra for it. Similarly, you may pay more for an iPhone than any other phone, or a certain brand of clothes, or for one drink at the pub compared to another. What is really important that we understand how to apply Porter, and we were talking more about this in class and on your assignments. So identifying the firm-specific activities in each area, perhaps thinking about how we can actually find out about each one of them in the 9 areas that Porter describes. It may be that not each of them actually has something particularly special to consider. Identifying the linkages, thinking about where we can identify the linkages. What does a firm link its performance in one area with another area? In cost leadership, is it something which ties through all the areas, or is it a company saying, well, our product isn't particularly special, but we do have a special service, so we'll offer you a much better customer service and we'll ask you to pay more for it, as we believe in looking after our customers. Our product's nothing different, nothing special, but we'll look after you. So it may not be competitive in all areas, but in certain areas. Cost leadership, optimization, coordination, outsourcing, actually looking to see whether cost control can be brought into every stage, and differentiation, How can things be done differently? How can things be done better? As a quick example, let's have a look at the two organisations represented here in the photos, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And we have Lidl. Well, Lidl's a supermarket. It's a cost leader. There's no frill service. There's a limited range of products. The stores aren't flashy. There's no coffee shops in them. There are no other customer value-added things. It tries to be cheap and provide a reasonable quality at a cheap price. If we then think of Waitrose, now Waitrose on the other hand is completely the opposite. Waitrose prides itself on actually having a fantastic range of items, often quite local. It has a very wide range of items, and perhaps some of the items you can't get hold of easier in other stores. A great customer service, lots of value added, great facilities, often with nice coffee shops, fancy buns to eat, car parking, the sort of things you wouldn't get at Lidl. The question is though, how do both survive? Why do both survive? So we need to explain why one of them doesn't go out of business. And the reason is, it's actually catering for different people, different parts of the market. People look for different things. People look for a cost leader. Sometimes you look for a cost leader because you have to, or you want to. You want to find that cheapest product. And in difficult economic times, we actually see, and would expect to see, that cost leaders will grow and grow, hence the expansion of places like Lidl. We've also seen that this value supermarket has taken a considerable share of the market in the last few years. Waitrose, however, though, are looking for people who say, "Oh, I don't mind if it costs a bit more. Oh, I don't mind paying for it, but I think the product's worth it." Perhaps it's just because they want the Waitrose brand, or because they do believe genuinely it tastes nicer, or perhaps it's something you can't get in other stores. So hopefully you've been able to see quite clearly the difference between cost leadership and differentiation. And if we get through the different activities these firms do, we can actually see how they generate these advantages, and we'll be looking at this in much more depth.